Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Shacknews E3 post show for the third and final day. The E3 press conference, the E3 show is literally being ripped apart around us. People are getting out ladders and tearing it down.
It's like a visual metaphor of the games industry and games media right now.
Wow, that is really pessimistic. We're gonna stay optimistic here for at least a little while because we have to talk about the awards that we gave out. By the way, since yesterday, I saw the chat was like naming who we were because it didn't know who any of these faces were. I'm just gonna go around the table real quick and introduce everyone. We have Josh Hawkins right here, David Craddock, Asif Khan, Cassidy Moser, and special guest.
Oh, look who's back.
Ozzy!
Special guest Ozzy Mejia back with us. So today we whipped together our dumb video game awards. This is an E3 tradition going back probably millennia, who knows. And it's kind of silly. I've always thought it was silly. So I thought this year we'd have a little fun with it and do it ourselves and give out some legitimate awards and also some kind of stupid awards just for funsies.
My specialty.
So let's run through some of the awards that we gave out. We did actually give Best Dad to Kratos, and Sony seemed to appreciate that. That was a fun one.
Were there any other dads on the floor, though? Like, I feel like that was kind of a...
Marcus Phoenix is a dad. You showed him in the trailer.
Marcus Phoenix has dad bod.
But you know what?
Allowed that to happen.
Kratos taught his son to hunt. So
Crowd goes wild over Ozzy.
let's see. What else did we give out? I'm saving the big one for last. The game of show. Not that it should be a surprise to anyone.
We did Best Carpet at the show.
Best carpet.
We gave it
went
to Twitch.
Yeah.
And they were ecstatic to finally win something at E3.
They
They'd
very
never get
excited.
an award.
I'm gonna get very slightly blue here for a second, and I'll dance around this. And they were very sweet and didn't seem to notice.
Oh, Lord,
but
where's
as I was handing it to these very nice PR ladies at Twitch, I realized I'm handing them a thing that says Best Carpet, and I suddenly felt extremely awkward.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, yeah. That's pretty bad.
And
Inappropriate.
I did not mean it
no.
that way, and they did not take it that way, and I was so happy that
You got a dirty mind.
At least if they did
would
take
have
it that way,
been worse.
they didn't show it.
It would have been worse depending on how you handed it to them. Because if you're just like, hey, you guys have the best carpet. Or
Yeah,
if you're like,
I
"You
mean, I
guys
made
have the
sure to
best
mention
carpet."
I made sure to like motion towards the floor and be like, oh, this is nice. This is like bouncy, you know, just to make sure that it didn't come off the wrong way.
Where
but
do I file a suit?
I felt extremely awkward, and I might have been blushing. I can't tell.
You remember that whole speech I gave about not being it gets you chicks anymore, and how we're growing up, we're 20-year-old websites, we're going to be more mature. Now we're handing out Best Carpet. Have we learned nothing from 3 days ago, Steve? Yes,
Yeah,
we
now
have
do it
learned
for
nothing
Shacknews.
from 3 days
Okay,
ago.
so let's dive into some other awards that we gave. What others come to mind, or do you have the list out?
I was going to pull out the list. I think some of my favorites were we gave Best Rival website.
Best
booth.
rival website went
Okay,
to IGN.
I went down and visited IGN today, and they
Yeah.
all came up to me and they're like, "Oh, tell Asif, thank you so much."
Like they love.
We got social media thanks from IGN.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Justin Davis for sure came
Yeah.
up to me. And
Yeah, Per Schneider tweeted at me,
Yeah,
and he
for
was
sure.
really excited about it.
We like IGN. We're 1,000 times smaller than them, and that's kind of the joke.
They're good
I don't
people.
think that the people I actually gave that placard to understood that was the joke.
No.
I think they were like, "Oh, thanks," you know. And I was like, "No. The joke is that we know that you are a giant compared to us." But
And then we gave the Best Do It for Shacknews
Best Do It for
award.
Shacknews went to
It went
Oculus.
to Oculus because
Yeah.
yesterday I literally shamed Brendan Reeves, CEO of Oculus, into sending someone over here for our stream. So Nate Mitchell came over. We had a nice little chat about VR. It was awesome. So we gave them the Do It for Shacknews award.
Best Quake went to
Bethesda. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
they won the Best Quake
Yeah.
award.
they won that award again. Who would have thought?
You know, can I take a moment to say, you know, I'm glad that you guys are going in a more mature direction. We're dumping the sophomore humor. We're moving into a more sophisticated direction. So with that said, you know, what did you guys award for best dick game?
We didn't. We did.
AVI.
I do have to say
It
there
was a Devolver Digital game, wasn't it?
there was an actual Devolver Digital game, if I am correct, that involved.
They tweeted at you guys.
They
yeah.
did?
Speaking of getting blue, there was in Shadow Warrior 2. There was a very lovingly rendered demon dick. So I mean,
Lovingly rendered.
Watch Wang.
Was there?
it was technically
Was
Watch
there
Wang, Watch
physics
Wang.
dictating it as he?
It was
as he
Wingception
lumbered
because
around?
So I don't know. I think that's a tie. What would you give it to?
I don't know. You guys gave it to shoot. I'm trying to remember what game it was, but I know they tweeted at you guys. So
I don't have it on this list because Joe did it late in the game.
Wait. We had a surprise write-in entry.
Yeah, we did.
This did not get cleared through me.
No, it didn't. He came up to me.
I think it was like genital jousting or something like that.
Yeah. They won.
Yeah.
Because who else
Did
would?
you hang up?
Indie games are art,
Did you hang
guys.
up the award in the bathroom?
No, but I did take a nice picture.
Okay, cool.
And I tweeted
Okay.
it out.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
cool.
the
It's
best
very
promotion
professional.
award went to the Gears of War bathroom promotion.
Where I
in the
had to
mirror.
go like this because somehow it was shorter than me, which is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Right.
It wins an award for that too.
So
Yeah.
what other silly categories do we have before we get to the real ones?
Best Zelda.
I didn't actually make Best Zelda, but
Best Zelda went
Best
to
Zelda
Zelda.
went to Zelda.
And also, we had Best Jazz Band.
I kind of thought we could only like give one of those best. You could only make that joke once. So Best
And
Quake
was
went to
better.
Quake. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I walked by the Telltale booth and saw Best Batman.
Oh,
He needs
best
a mic.
best Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, Best
went to
Batman,
Shacknews.
Telltale's Batman.
Or went to Telltale. Sorry.
And then, Best Jazz Band. 2K had this
2K
awesome
had
jazz
an
band.
awesome
the whole
nightly
show.
jazz band.
They were rocking
Every day
it.
around 4 or so, they would rock out. It was pretty awesome to
So
to
we
pass by them.
It was pretty.
They got a
ridiculously
kick out of the best jazz band
There
thing.
was like
yeah.
a marching band walking around too. Was that
So
the
all
same
of
people?
this, I should specify, all of this was delivered in love.
Yeah.
We very specifically said none of these awards should be mean-spirited. We are pointing out things that we actually legitimately like.
We should probably talk
Yeah.
about the actual awards.
yeah, let's talk about the actual awards.
We'll lead up to Best of Show.
Yeah.
So Best VR was Star Trek: The Bridge Crew
Yeah.
over there at Ubisoft.
Josh loved that Star Trek Bridge Crew, and we just heard a lot of good buzz in general.
I mean,
so I take
there were
Josh's word
so
for it.
many good VR demos
Yeah.
between PSVR, between HTC, and then what?
This place
the,
is brighter
the
than
first,
I've seen in days.
What the
They just
third-party
turned up the
devs were doing.
lights.
Yeah,
It wasn't
they
Batman
stopped
dressed up
charging
simulator?
me for electricity just now. Turn on the microwave, Eric. Anyway, this is amazing. We should spring for this next year. Best booth.
Best booth went to Nintendo.
Because that was ridiculous.
It was a
30,000
Zelda
square feet of
theme park.
Zelda.
Can we
So-
mention some honorable? Yeah, give David the mic. Let
Yeah,
him talk
all right.
about Resident Evil for a second because that was a
So-
cool booth.
Yeah, you go in for the demonstration, and I went back yesterday, just had to see all sides of it. There's like a gated fence with a beware, do not enter. You go inside the haunted house, the halls are dirty, there are blood streaks on the walls. In each room, they have a TV set up with like bloody towels on the floor, old VHS tapes, which actually factors into the game, into the puzzles that you solve. It was, and that experience transfers seamlessly into the actual VR version of Resident Evil 7 because you step into that same plantation house. And I'm a big haunted house guy. Playing Resident Evil 7 in VR felt a lot like touring a virtual haunted house. So, best technology, VR. Like, I'm on board now.
I know. It's
Resident
amazing.
Evil 7 got me on board.
I had a lot of cynics and skeptics in the VR space, and I think they're slightly moving towards VR.
Don't upgrade
Not
me
her.
yet. Don't upgrade
No,
me
you're
yet.
still the resident VR curmudgeon.
I'm there until they make a detailed X-wing simulator, and then I'm
Well,
in.
you have a problem with the form.
Best late
I'm
to
in
the
on
party goes to
PSVR,
David
though.
Craddock for VR.
Although PSVR is I'm sold on that after Sony's press conference on Monday.
I
Like,
think
it's-
they
got the
they're-
software for it.
They're
I'm
just
in.
good enough, and they got a lot of great IP.
You
And I
know,
think-
like talking about PSVR, I actually had a demo of Loading Human, which is Maximum Games VR thing that they've got going on, and I demoed it last year. And they've actually changed up a lot about it. Like they've got a new locomotion system, which is really interesting. But that's a completely different topic. The topic I actually wanted to talk about is because we were naming our best booth, and of course we did vote Nintendo, but I think like Resident Evil, the Mafia 3 booth also deserves a very honorable mention because it's like stepping into 1960s New Orleans.
Yeah, it's a
like
period
it's
piece.
fantastic.
That's great. So, what are other awards here that we are legitimate? Are legit awards.
The legit awards.
Yeah.
Best tech.
Best tech.
We gave it to Pico Neo VR. It's this dedicated Android headset. The processor and the GPU and the storage are all in the controller. It's tethered based from the controller to your headset. You can unplug it from the controller and plug it into a computer, and it becomes a tethered PC headset. Super light, awesome counterbalancing.
Yeah, it's very promising. Like
Yeah.
because Asif and I, we kept picking it up and putting it down and picking it up and putting it down because it was just so light and we couldn't believe it. So
And it was kind of amazing, like the fact that you don't need a phone. You know, that's the problem with Gear VR is like, you know,
Yeah.
I have an iPhone. I don't want to get a dedicated phone just for portable VR. This is a solution where I don't need a phone. I can still have the access to the Google Play Store. It's
It's pretty
super
rad,
cool.
yeah.
And they deserve some love.
And as a tech-focused gaming site, I feel like that was one of the more prestigious awards that
It was
we
like
gave
one of
out.
those things where we were like, huh, that's kind
Yeah.
of neat. Like we had never heard of them before. Like
Yeah.
we were kind of like, we weren't sure. when
And
we
it
had
was
this
it was one of those appointments behind the scenes here. It was one of those appointments where you get an email like, "Trust us, you're going to want to see this," and things like that. And you get like literally every email says that when you're getting invites for E3.
And oddly enough, like you're
like-
talking about PSVR,
like, this is really going to surprise you, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll make an appointment.
The
But then
lead-
we saw it, and it's like, oh wow, yeah.
the lead industrial designer left Sony PSVR to go work on this project, and he brought a lot of that ergonomic design that they have. Cause
Yeah, it looked very similar to PSVR in some ways.
feels great when you wear it.
I feel like this is one of the positives of not having EA and Activision and Disney here, is that you actually have more space to see those little.
Yeah, I don't even know if they would have been able to get a booth if
No.
Disney hadn't,
or
an Activision
even you
and
guys
EA
wouldn't have had
pulled out.
time to see it.
Yeah,
for
true,
sure.
true.
Yeah.
Because how much time did this free up not having to see those big three publishers?
Yeah. All right, legit awards.
Oh yeah,
Joseph.
best press conference went
Sony.
to Sony. Best trailer, oddly enough, was from the Sony press conference. Do you remember?
Was it?
The Kojima.
Yeah,
Death
yeah.
Stranding,
The fish oil.
Fish oil. Eric, we're good.
Death Stranding. Yeah.
Huh? Oh, okay. I saw the door open. I was like, make sure we're not getting robbed.
Yeah.
while we're
So
on stream.
so Death Stranding. The reason that I voted for that for our best trailer is because one, there weren't a lot of trailers this year. There were a lot of brief gameplay demos. You know. But Death Stranding is also the one that like raised the most questions. You know, it was like, what? Wait, what is that?
Was that even the game?
Yeah.
Questions?
Nebulous
thought?
Kojima plot?
Where Sony's looking at the trailer and they're like, "Oh my God, what did we give this guy money for?"
What have we done? But yeah, I'm so curious now to see what that game actually is. And everything else was like there was the Zelda trailer, and then it's like kind of mixed with Zelda just gameplay footage,
Yeah.
And same thing with God of War. So that was like one of the things that was like actually a trailer.
Oh, Lefty too.
I think we have how many awards do we have left? Legit awards, like one.
We have two
one,
more
two?
legit awards.
All right.
We had Best Surprise,
Oh yeah, that's right. Best surprise.
went to God of War.
God of War. That's right. Yeah.
And then
You
drum
could've-
roll.
you could've put a
David,
lot
you might be
for
real
Best
I mean,
surprised to hear what our game
best
show
surprise.
was.
Let's talk a little bit about best surprise first. Best surprise, God of War. There were rumors about the Norse thing, so that part wasn't surprising. But the thing they did with the way they're contextualizing this as like a story about parenting and about Kratos being less of just a rage monster, like that is not a direction I expected for
Do you
that
think
series.
Kratos believes in spanking?
Yes.
Okay.
You could have put a lot into best surprise.
Those
Like,
other games?
I don't know. I'm just
Like,
Honorable
I like to think
mentions
he
for best
posts, like,
surprise. Is that what we're getting now?
anti-spanking articles on
I
Facebook
think
or
we
something.
are. Honorable mentions for best surprise. I probably would have given it to Spider-Man for Insomniac. Like that's
That was a big surprise, and
Yeah.
I was actually talking when we saw The Unspoken, which is another VR title by Insomniac Games. Like Asif and I were actually talking to the guys about Spider-Man. We were like, yeah, we saw it, and we were kind of like, God, not another Spider-Man game. And then we saw they were making it, and we were like, what if there was a good Spider-Man
Yeah.
game?
I mean, they have this engine that they're using for.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, they're using Ratchet and Clank engine for Edge of Nowhere and their other new titles.
Yeah, I mean it's Insomniac. I have a lot of faith in them
I mean,
for
but look at them.
for
They're
superhero
going-
titles,
and
They're
especially.
going whole hog into VR
And
in a
they're-
big way.
and Insomniac is coming off of Sunset Overdrive, which
Yeah.
I feel like would segue great into a Spider-Man game, and that's why I'm really excited
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm tired of Spider-Man movies, but not Spider-Man video games.
Did you get a chance to play Feral Rights at all?
I did.
What did you think of that one?
It's like Altered Beast meets like a free roam Zelda, but the thing about
What an odd
Feral Rights
combination.
is like they figured out how to do a third-person perspective in VR. With there's a blue line that occurs at the edge of each little scene,
Yep.
and when you cross it, that's when the camera switches. So it like lets you know. It's not as jarring as a lot of other, like Cronus does it too, where it's. And we were talking about breaking the 180 degrees field of view.
Yeah.
And when you do that, people start to get a little wobbly from it. So they nailed it. They figured out how to do a third-person perspective game.
That was the only one that they didn't have playable when I went up to see him a few months ago. So I was curious how because it doesn't have weapons in it. which is
No.
the first for them.
Yeah, it's a brawler, but you have these power ups that turn you into like a giant cat and stuff, and it's really fun. Like I said, it's like Altered Beast. It's like Altered Beast Turok third person with like a little bit of Zelda in it. It was fun.
I want to mention one more.
Yeah.
I want to mention one more for best surprise. This is more or less. I want to mention this game because I wanted to give it an award and we couldn't find a good place to fit it. Is Horizon Zero Dawn,
Yeah.
which I love so much and would have been my game of show if our game of show wasn't here, because it's such an interesting world. And when I first saw the first trailer, I think last year, I was like, well, that's incredibly generic sounding. And playing it this year, I'm like, this isn't exactly breaking new ground. It is caveman, high tech futurism Tomb Raider.
I don't know, man.
But
I don't know.
but
I mean,
it's so well done. Like I played a solid 20 minutes of it, and I just want to like go back to it and play that world and hunt more mechs and craft stuff out of them. It's great.
It looks amazing. First off, like visually, it looks
Yes,
stunning.
it does. It really does.
But it also has kind of like this like young adult novel kind of charm to me, where it's like weird motif of you have this prehistoric with this like future tech mix, and
Yeah,
it's really cool.
And I mentioned this in my preview. It's almost like the mechs have like established like a hierarchy and like a food chain,
Right on.
so they are treated like wildlife, but there's also actual organic wildlife.
That's really cool.
It's just rad. I
And
love
it's
it.
Guerrilla Games.
Yeah,
That's-
it's rad.
It's one of those things where I was really bummed that the game got delayed to 2017, but I think that delay is doing it a lot of good.
Yeah. I think
Obviously,
so,
it's
too.
come a long way since
Wait,
last year.
did we just ban Mr. Sleepy from the Twitch chat?
Probably.
No. Okay. I mean, if he was doing that homoerotic Shacker fanfic, maybe, but
I want
no BS, Cassidy. That's a thing.
Shout out to Chatty.
I do want to shout out. There was somebody earlier that said best carpet went to Naughty America.
Oh, ayo.
I wanna make a mention here because we're actually talking about awards before we make our best game of show award. I think we really owe it. Someone in chat said that it's got to be exhausting to talk about games all day, and while it can be at times, like I think one of the most exhausting parts of this is what everyone behind the scenes does. Like Eric works his butt off to do these streams
Seriously.
and keep all this stuff going.
And held down the
we
fort
could
at the
not
booth.
do this without him, without Andrew, without Joe, like all those guys. They really
Shout out
helped
to
bring
Michael
this
Wang,
all
too.
together. Yeah, Michael Wang, like he never left the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tinfoil Hatter, Soggy Bagel, not Mean Monkey, Monkey Loves You,
Yeah.
and Rodney Stubbs.
There's
They
a
all-
lot of
they
stuff
all-
going on behind these cameras that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Okay, he's back.
Yeah. All right. So
Lego Feet, sorry we banned you. I don't know what you did. But I love your beats.
So all that said, I think we can get to the big award, which is going to be shocking to everyone. It goes
Zelda.
Zelda. It goes to Zelda. Of course, it goes to Zelda.
Breath of Zelda.
Zelda, I think won literally every single Game of Show award this year. They had
That's
they had
freaking
they had a
awesome.
fucking wall of them. And
Can we qualify this first of all by saying it's not just because there weren't a lot of other games here or because it was a slow year or whatever? Like Zelda deserved this award.
Zelda deserves it.
It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
It's
We're gonna
like
nerd
everything
out
I've
about
wanted in
Zelda
a
here
Zelda.
for a few minutes.
Yeah, well, let's just all nerd out about Zelda right
the
now.
one observation I want to make about it. David wrote our previews. David has written two actual pieces about it so far. So and he's sort of our Zelda historian. So I'll hand the mic over to him in a second. But the one observation I want to make about it is that Nintendo is at its best when it is making toys. When it is making playful experiences. And by toys, I mean when I hand a new toy to my daughter, who is like about a year old, she tests it because play is inherently about testing and seeing where the limitations are and seeing what things do. And Nintendo does that really well with its games. The Mario series especially has been like really famous for capturing that feeling of play. And Zelda captured that with Ocarina of Time at the time. But since then, it's been imitating that over and over again. Yeah, it's been very entrenched in that, and so it hasn't felt playful in the same way. It hasn't felt like you're testing the boundaries and seeing what works. And this game feels like you are testing the boundaries and seeing what works.
I think Link Between Worlds was that game that opened us up to
Yeah,
experimentation in the
exactly.
Zelda universe.
And
But,
as an example, this is I think this happened to everyone because they didn't realize that the physics model was this advanced. I was holding a flaming torch. I walked into some tall grass. It was very dry brush apparently. It caught on fire like almost immediately. The wind blew the fire towards me. So as I'm on fire, I'm in the middle of the booth surrounded by all of the bigwigs at Nintendo. While I'm on fire, I'm running out of the brush yelling, "I've made a mistake." And then right after I yell that, Link just drops down dead. So
because there are still guys shooting at you, of course.
yes, of course. They were contributing to the damage, but like seeing what works even when it kills you, like that's a fun toy. Like it makes it toy-like.
They're arguing over the color of Cassidy's clothing.
It's black, guys. It's a black.
It's
plaid
the new
shirt.
blue-black dress.
It's a black plaid shirt. I have a gray Star Wars shirt on underneath it.
All right.
Surprise,
go
surprise!
9-month-old
Cassidy's
meme.
wearing Star Wars gear.
This is the first time in the show that I have. All right.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I wore the Millennium Falcon shirt the first day, but that didn't.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't E3 proper.
Exactly.
Well,
Day zero or
so yeah,
day one or
I forgot to do a T-shirt draw on that thread yesterday, so I'm gonna do it live on stream. shackapi.hughes.cc.
Our
Here we
winner
go.
picker.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Winner is. Oh my God! I have to send a freaking T-shirt to Sweden.
All right.
Troll. Troll. I know you're out there, buddy.
Rookie
You
mistake.
just want a shirt.
You always say U.S. only.
I know. We always say U.S. only until today, and
It'll get there in 6 months.
yeah, yeah. I'll send it by carrier pigeon to you, Hemtroll, and you have to just SM me your.
Troll
your
deserves the
size.
shirt anyway.
What
That-
up, G?
That dude's been.
Us to claim you.
That would be
Troll's been
cool,
a
too.
supporter for a long time. He deserves a shirt.
He really is. Like he's a champion. He longtime listener of the Chatty Cast, longtime listener or viewer of our streams. He organizes a lot. I did. I spent all the Shacknews money on the booth. Good luck getting your shirt shipped. Yeah. Sorry. We do have
That's
shirts.
the other
though.
announcement. Shacknews is shutting down after today.
Yeah. Bad news, guys. We're out of money. But it was a good 20 years.
We gave Twitch their the best booth. They'll be buying Shacknews by next week.
Yeah, I mean, based on LinkedIn's valuation, we're at least worth $20 to $40 million. So I was excited to hear that. But anyway, so yeah, Zelda, freaking awesome.
Yeah, I probably won't nerd out about it too much. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I could talk about Zelda for hours.
Now the rest of the show is Zelda.
But this was my choice for game of the show, like before I got here, actually. But seeing it just reinforced to me. Like Steve, I've always compared Nintendo to a toy box. Nintendo games just let you crack open your toy box and play with the toys and make up your own games. And I'm a firm believer that the best video game stories usually don't involve a lot of long-winded cinematics or dialogue. They let you tell your own stories. And Zelda really used to do that. But year after year, they've been getting really entrenched in linearity and traditional narratives. And as far as I'm concerned, Nintendo's looking at 2 for 2. Super Mario Maker might be the ultimate toy chest, the ultimate Mario game. And now we're looking at Breath of the Wild, Breath of Fresh Air, which is going to
Ozzy,
be
you haven't
that.
beaten my level yet.
Which is going to be that for Zelda. And so I'm just really excited to see more of this game. I mean, we heard that you can beat it within like minutes. If you just know where to go, I guess you can also beat it without even fighting the final boss. It looks like there are going to be so many ways to play this game. And I think that what Ocarina of Time did for video games in general in 1998, Breath of the Wild is probably going to do for games next year if it comes out.
Yeah,
It's gonna come out.
It feels like
I believe.
it is an open
Still
world
mad
game,
at Nintendo, though.
and at first glance, I think it feels like it's like borrowing a lot of open world RPG customs, and it's like, oh well, this is Zelda being a follower, not a leader. But when you stack on top like the physics systems and the way that the world pieces of the world interact with each other, and the fact that it's not like a lot of open world games where it's like it's an open world but there's a waypoint over there, so go to the waypoint because that's what'll move the story forward. When I started the demo, I said, what am I supposed to do? And the demo guide said, well, what do you want to do? Like, just pick a direction, go in that direction.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I love
You're-
that freedom of it. It reminds me of the original gold cartridge NES.
yeah,
Legend
that's
of
exactly
Zelda.
what it is. David and I have been talking about this. The Ocarina was Link to the Past as rendered in 3D.
Yep.
This is the original Legend of Zelda as rendered in 3D.
Hallelujah.
There's nothing more I can add to that.
Praise be the Zelda.
I'm just so happy with it.
We're
And
a PC enthusiast
and
site that loves Nintendo like
Did
a
you
lot.
have to ban him again?
and it is picking up a lot of
He's
elements
fired.
of.
Hemtroll, are you beating down on Mr. Sleepy?
Let's let Ozzy talk. Hold on. What,
Sorry.
What were you saying, Ozzy?
It is picking up a lot of elements from other games, like the best ones, like the openness of Skyrim, like the difficulty of a Dark Souls, like that sort of thing.
Some of the crafting from like Monster Hunter.
Exactly, like some of the cooking elements. It's like the story, hopefully the story of The Witcher, like that sort of thing. I'm so excited to see like what all of those parts add up to next year.
I think we should talk about the art style a little bit because it's like
It's so gorgeous.
It borrows like every single
It's so
Zelda,
gorgeous.
like something awesome from it, and it combines it into this really unique visual.
It's insane.
environment.
I sort of like purposely maneuvered myself near a tree to force the camera to zoom in closer on Link, and it's like this. It's hard to describe. It's like this fuzzy painterly style that you don't really see in video games very
It's
often.
like the evolution of the Wind Waker style in a lot of ways.
Well, it's all.
Yep.
It's like Wind Waker combined with Skyward Sword combined with it almost feels like the timeline of where this fits might be the bridge point between all these different games, and so the art style reflects that. It's
Oh, we're getting into timeline.
we're gonna
and I do
lure
wanna
out
get into
right
timeline.
now. Let's
Because-
get into this.
Because we saw Greg go into the Temple of Time ruins, which it's like wow.
Yeah,
like,
I mean they know the significance of that iconography, right? Like when you first enter the Temple of Time and it's wrecked and collapsed, that means something to Zelda fans. When they showed the trailer and you saw the shot of the Master Sword in the forest and it's overgrown, that's like that hits you in your Zelda feels.
It really does.
and that just leads to some questions for me, like how your weapons will wear out over time over use.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen with the Master Sword?
It
'Cause
can't.
It
I feel
can't.
like that's what is going to make the Master Sword special. Which I think we might have talked about this on a previous show. But what makes the Master Sword special, I think, is going to be that it doesn't wear out. So it feels special through gameplay, which is so
it's
brilliant.
gonna come late in the game, and then it's gonna be one of those things where you want to play again with the Master Sword, so you can just be a badass Link. I think
How to
that's
get the
what's gonna end
Master
up
Sword
happening.
first on Shacknews. Just saying, guys.
Yeah.
It
Shackfacts.com.
might take you a while, but
I don't have Facebook. Check your facts there, Trey Metal.
But they
Please.
can, even though it's open world, they can still gate the Master Sword behind. There's a mythos built up behind. Find the.
there
pendants
really
or
is,
whatever,
and I want to see how they handle that.
Yeah.
Travis
It
Swift's
probably won't be.
license.
It probably won't be. Go to this spot in the forest and it's there.
It's true. It's true.
Oh my
have to
God!
prove you're a
It's
hero
not an
first.
earthquake.
That's the zone. I want to go over to South Holland.
He's jonesing for it. Yeah.
Can we just steal Wii U on the way out of here?
Maybe.
With
Let's try
Zelda?
it. Let's go.
Yeah, we should do
Real quick, talk about how you took a picture with Miyamoto when you handed him our
That's
awards.
true. So
And then we got wrap up.
We went down to hand our awards out, and as much as possible, we were trying to get pictures of someone with the award. So we asked the Nintendo people, like, hey, can we have a photo with this award? It was me and Joe Torado, and they said I was scheduled to come on to host a stream earlier, and this was right before that. They're like, if you can wait for 12 minutes, we can get you someone. And, it sounded like it might be Bill Trennan, maybe Reggie if we were lucky. And they're like, all right, we'll take you upstairs now. It was frickin' Shigeru Miyamoto. It was Miyamoto, and it was amazing, and I'm never washing this hand because we shook hands.
You really should. E3 is filthy.
So
we have Purell all over
We
this
have
booth.
photos of both him holding the awards for best booth and best game, and then we just have just a fun photo of us standing with Miyamoto. Yeah, it was an awesome moment. My dreams have come true.
I am insanely
Now I never
jealous.
have to come to E3 again. I'm fine.
I kind of feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
Joe's here.
Joe can come in here and talk a little more too.
You want to get back here?
I'll just hover in this corner.
Okay. Hover.
We've got like probably 5 minutes left.
Yeah. Eric gave us the rap symbol. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
we've
gonna
got
have
like
to
5
wrap.
minutes left in this show, so we're gonna get
Parting
ushered off
shot,
soon.
Joe.
Literally gonna just
But
take my
we
card.
haven't heard from you at all, Joe. We just ran through our awards, basically.
Yeah, okay. So the one award that we haven't talked about probably is the award that we gave at the Devolver booth.
Yeah.
I don't know if we really talked about
Talk
that.
about that a little.
I don't know if we
This is a
really
great. This is a
talked
great
about-
way to end a stream.
He knows more about it.
So I walked over there and I went up to I was like, hey, so who's the guy who made this thing? And they're like, oh, it's this guy over here. And I was like, hey, man, here's our award from Shacknews. And he's like, what is this? And I was like, you got best dick game of show.
Thank you.
And,
See,
and then he kind of was like a little confused. I don't know if he was like 100%. I don't know if he understood English super well. So then he was like,
to some poor guy who
Did you draw a picture?
no, I didn't draw the picture. I just wrote it. But then he was confused and he thought maybe I was talking about like his dick game, not like his dick game. So it was just like really awkward.
Like, way to go. Way to go with your dick game.
Oh my god.
No,
Like,
you
He's
might
like,
no.
how do you know?
How do you know that my dick game is real good? And I was
This
like,
is
"Dude,
Shacknews,
I'm sorry."
everybody.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was the end of my E3. Was that?
Seems like the
that
proper
happened.
way to
That's
end
excellent.
this stream
Yes.
Excellent story.
and
Um,
this website.
It's been a great show.
Yeah, that's
been a
his
great
website.
show.
I didn't really
Really?
get to play anything, but I got to see a lot of things.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
I feel you. Anyway,
Yes. Oh, there's Keefinator Shack in there. All right, cool.
Hey,
thanks.
Keefinator Shack. So,
Thank you guys.
they're going to, I think, just literally pick us up by our shirt collars and throw us out of here if we don't get out of
they're
here.
gonna
soon.
start ripping out
So-
electronics.
Yeah.
They're gonna pick up the couches with us on it.
Okay.
Like,
They're,
leave.
they're really itching to tear this place
Leave.
down. Anyway,
So,
thank you guys. Thanks, Shaq.
thank you for tuning in. Thank you for
putting up with our autoplay at the
supporting
top
us
of
for
Chatty.
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
This was
of
an awesome,
website.
an awesome anniversary thing to do.
Thanks, Steve, for coordinating a lot of this.
Oh,
Joe,
thank you, thank you.
You know, Eric, everyone, Josh, everyone on staff.
I do have to say,
Yeah,
Steve,
Eric, we're gonna get Eric on camera for a second.
Steve was a rock
Whether he
star
wants
with
to or not.
scheduling this year.
Thank you.
That was,
Thank you.
it was
I
pretty
try.
intense. It's-
We also have a last minute award to give
Oh, yeah.
away.
Yeah.
The best CEO of show award,
Where is
which
it?
goes to the one, the only Asif Khan.
Don't draw it out, Josh.
I
We only
mean-
got so much time.
We've got like 30 blanks. We can make another one. It's okay.
Everybody's a winner.
we printed way too many of those things, to be honest. Yeah, there you go. They don't have a year on them. This is also what the placards look like.
Hey.
Spelled my name wrong and everything.
That's what the placards look like. We were handwriting the actual awards. It makes it funnier, I think. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Let's do this again next year.
Let's.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Let's plan it with more than 2 months.
Yeah, let's plan it a few more months in advance.
I was like, here's
Yeah.
6 weeks. I was like, here's 6 weeks. Do it for Shaq.
By the
News.
way, Steve, schedule all this stuff. Thanks.
By the way, I'm going to Detroit for 2 weeks, so you won't be able to get a hold of me. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Anyway, thanks, guys.
Let's try it again.
Thank
but
all of you. Thank you,
thank you
Eric.
for watching, and yeah, do it for Shack News.
Do it for Shack News.